What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy X. The last episode, in fact. Today we fight Penance. But before we do that, I have some very specific preparations that I've made. I've made a new set of armor for everyone that has some very specific abilities on them. I've got Auto Haste, Auto Potion, Auto Protect, and Defense plus 20%. Everyone's got the exact same abilities. And none of those are particularly difficult to customize. I've gone over how to get pretty much all of them, I think, in the previous episodes. And anyways, besides that, I've also got a bunch of items. I've got plenty of X potions. You probably want to have at least 80. The more, the better, obviously, but yeah. What else is in here? I've got... purifying salts. You probably want to have at least one of those, although it's not strictly necessary. And 3 stars, you want at least one of those. And last but not least, where are they? Healing springs. You want at least 2 healing springs. Okay. So 2 healing springs, 1 purifying salt, 1 3 stars, and as many X potions as you can get. 84 should be fine though. So anyways, truth be told, I've actually already killed Penance. And it's an exceptionally long fight. Some people have quoted it as being as much as an hour long. It took me around 40 minutes or so though. Because it's so long, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to cut to that footage, which is going to be like mega sped up, and I'm just going to commentate over top of it. So, let's go do that. Okay, so to begin this fight, we actually have to take the airship and go to a location on the list marked as Penance. Now, the most important thing about this fight is dealing with his arms. They're considered separate targets, but they're actually the most dangerous thing in this fight. They can do... The left arm can do some really nasty things to your party, inflicting tons of stats ailments. And the armor that we have to use for this doesn't actually have ribbon on it. The other arm will inflict penance with various buffs and stuff. So right off the bat, we want to start using quick hit on the left arm. And unfortunately, we don't get to kill the right arm before it has a chance to go. So anyways, we've killed both arms. Now we mixed 2 healing springs together to do Ultra Null All using Riku's Mix Overdrive, of course. And what that does is it gives us all of the Null Elemental status buffs, but that's not really important. More importantly, it also counts as having used Cheer 5 times, but it only takes 1 turn to do so. And that's really important because speed is the name of the game in this fight. After doing that, I used a 3 stars, and what that does is it reduces the party's MP usage down to 0. So I can use as many MP consuming abilities as I need, regardless of how much MP I have. Which is important for 2 reasons. For one, this is a really long fight, and I don't want to have to constantly be restoring my MP. Because it's annoying, and because, again, speed is the essence of this fight. And for the other, later on, Penance will start using an attack that will actually remove all of your MP. So the key here is to kill the arms before they get a chance to go, but also at the same time get as much damage in on Penance as you can. The arms each have 500,000 health? Yeah, it takes 6 hits to kill each arm. Penance actually has Protect on him innately. You can't get rid of that, but you can still do max damage if you have max strength. So this fight is 2 phases. At the start here, every time Penance gets a turn, he'll use this attack called Oblivion, which does a large amount of physical damage to everyone. But because we have... Oh, Obliteration, not Oblivion, sorry. But because we have all of... we have Auto Protect, we have Defense plus 20, we've got the 5 times Cheer on as well now, but we don't need it for Oblivion. But Auto Potion is sufficient to heal us back up. So now after I think 3 or 4 million damage, Penance's tail falls off, and he starts using Immolation instead of Oblivion. And what Immolation does is it's another physical attack, whether it looks like it or not, and that's what we need the Cheer times 5 for, rather. Because if we don't have that, then it would do enough damage to kill us. So with the Mega Null All, Auto Protect, and Defense plus 20%, we can survive Immolation and Oblivion, and whoever gets hit will automatically get Auto Potioned back up. You can see that the people who've been hit by Immolation are at 0 MP. Now, Immolation also inflicts the person with break stats. So whoever gets hit by Immolation also has to be dispelled afterwards, because it's absolutely imperative that nobody dies. For one reason, because I don't have Auto Phoenix, and for another, because there's a large delay before you get your next turn after being revived. And once again, speed is the essence of this fight. It's absolutely imperative, because the second you do something wrong and you end up losing a bunch of turns in a row, then you fall behind, and once you fall behind, I mean, you can't kill the arms quick enough, and everything just kind of falls apart. So now, the other thing I mentioned that you need to have that I haven't actually explained why yet is Purifying Salts. I've actually used them already. I used one at the very start because the right arm used Mighty Guard before I had a chance to kill it. You want to kill the left arm first because it's more dangerous, and the right arm, if it does stuff, chances are you can just mitigate it before it has a chance to really do anything. So Mighty Guard puts regen on Penance, which is really bad because it heals like a ton of health every round. But we hadn't done any damage yet, so I just used a Purifying Salt on him, and it was all okay. Now once his tail falls off and he enters the second form, he actually has haste, so we want to use a Purifying... well, we already did, but you want to use a Purifying Salt on him then to get rid of the haste, because if he's got haste, then you're not going to stand a chance against this guy. And I'm pretty sure Dispel works just as well, but I don't know, Purifying Salts to do damage at least, I guess. It might be a little bit faster too. So beyond that, it basically just comes down to getting in the rhythm of killing off the arms, then doing as much damage to Penance as possible. With the proper armor set up, you shouldn't have to actually do any of your own healing. It should all happen automatically. And the only stuff you should have to do on yourself is doing Mega Null All and 3 stars to get yourself buffed up, and then using Dispel to remove the break from yourself when you get hit by Immolation. And if you don't follow this strategy, you know, pretty much exactly, like if you have to take any time at all to do anything else manually, then you're basically not going to have enough time to get done what you need to do, because the time restraints on this fight are really strict. Even if you can manage to take out the arms, this guy has 12 million health, so if you can't get enough hits in on him, then he's going to take a really long time, and you're going to run out of steam. I think by the end of this fight, I ended up using something like 60 or 70 X potions. You use a lot more in the first phase because obliteration hits everyone and immolation only hits one person. But you use a lot by the end of the fight. A couple other things to keep in mind about this fight is the arms actually drop dark matter, and so it can actually be a fairly efficient method of farming dark matter if you need it for whatever reason, to kill the arms a couple times and then run away. But like I said, I don't really know why you would need dark matter at this point. I guess it depends on what strategy you're actually using for Penance, because there are other strategies that do work. If you use break HP limit, this fight can actually be a lot easier. If you have, say, like 25 or 30,000 health, then this fight gets way easier. The only hard part becomes healing, which you can achieve by doing one of Riku's mixes. Something really specific. I can't really remember though. But I didn't opt for that strategy because I figured, why bother take the time to spend more time maxing out my stats when you really don't need to. If you do go for break HP limit, then it might make sense to have an armor with ribbon on it, which you might need dark matters for. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what else is there to say about this fight? It's a really hard fight, but the hard part isn't really so much in the execution. The hard part about this fight is just getting everything just right. Once you have a working strategy, it's just a matter of making sure that you do it right, and it almost becomes a matter of the hard part almost becomes like your stamina and your concentration, because if you slip up, then you just, you know, half an hour just went down the drain. There's one point here where I actually messed up. It didn't end up spelling my doom, but I got lucky. I forgot to dispel armor break on someone, and I didn't even notice it until he used immolation on someone else, and I saw that there are 2 people with armor break. Luckily, something like that, you have enough time to deal with that. It just means that you're going to go kind of like around not able to hit Penance. Some people have said that it's best to hit the arms 5 times, and for the 6th blow, the killing blow, to wait until it's right before that arm's turn to go, to maximize how many turns you actually get. Because like you get X amount of turns, and then once you kill the arm, it revives like a certain number of times later. So if you get a bunch of extra turns in before you actually kill it, then you can get more turns. But I haven't really found that it makes that much difference in the long run. No matter what you do, I found that it just kind of ends up being, you know, you get more or less the same number of turns in on Penance's body. It's just at different points in like the rotation. Like sometimes you might get like 5 in a row, and sometimes you might get 2, and then you have to kill the other arm, and then you get 3, and then you have to kill the other arm, or something like that. So I tend to prefer just to kill the arms as fast as possible. And when you're attacking, it's imperative that you use quick hit and nothing else, because everything else has a big delay. And that's about that. You get some nice stuff from killing Penance, but it doesn't really matter.